Hello my darlings, I'm Jules Furious and this is my first ever video. Its response to Contrapoints video, Is BDSM Feminist? I'll start by saying that I am a humorless feminist killjoy as well as a filthy pervert, so this is something I've thought a lot about. For this video, I'm talking specifically about BDSM as a personal sexual practice rather than the community or lifestyle, which is deeply probo on so many levels that it really needs a video of its own. It's hard to be uncritically sex positive in a rape culture because we've still got a lot of work to do to make sex a purely positive experience for everyone. We are moving from having been a deeply sex negative culture where non-normative sexual expression is seen as shameful or unnatural to, hopefully, one where we can view it as the healthy and fun activity it should be. A lot of people of all genders have experienced sexual trauma in some way, and this creates a bit of a minefield since people with sexual trauma are often still have sexual desires, as well as the need for comfort and closeness. Sometimes a traumatic experience will result in anything to do with that experience becoming a hard limit. Sometimes it will become someone's serious kink, and sometimes it will be something they only do with very trusted and safe people. This is why negotiation and consent are crucial to BDSM being a feminist practice, because they give us the tools to create sexual experiences that are satisfying and empowering. If everyone is able to discuss their needs, desires, and limits, and have them respected, it's going to be a much better time for everyone involved. If you and your partners are all aware of particular triggers or squicks, they can be avoided. A squick is something that might be a huge turn-off, but isn't actually triggering, just not your cup of tea. It's completely okay to say no to something just because it doesn't really do it for you. For example, there's nothing triggering for me about water sports, but I have zero desire to piss on someone or to be pissed on. This doesn't make me sex negative or kink shaming. Sex positivity doesn't mean you have to engage in all sexual acts, and you shouldn't be coerced or pressured into doing something just because your partner wants to do it. If your limits and boundaries aren't being treated as valid, don't fuck that person anymore. One of the issues I have with sex positivity is that sometimes people use it as a blanket excuse to never critique their own sexual practices. We are all problematic as fuck, because our culture is, and we could all use a long, hard look at ourselves on a regular basis. A lot of kink and BDSM revolves around transgression and either subverting or amplifying real-world power dynamics within a safe environment where no one is actually at risk. The very fact that BDSM participants create these environments for play should demonstrate that it's not necessarily something they want full-time in the real world, but something that's fun and sexy when it's all just pretend. Women who are sexually submissive shouldn't feel like they're bad feminists. You can want to get spanked and called a dirty girl and still believe in working towards gender equality. For me personally, because I'm a massive wet blanket who can't enjoy anything without applying my arts degree to it, I find kinks which replicate real-world power dynamics not very sexy. The idea of someone dressed like a cop beating someone else up doesn't turn me on, but the idea of beating up someone who is dressed like a cop kind of does. This doesn't mean that I think people who like to recreate real-world power dynamics are bad or unfeminist, just that I don't want to be personally involved in it. Ultimately, I think BDSM can be incredibly feminist if it means people are having good, satisfying, consensual sex that enriches their life and doesn't harm them. Communication practices like SSC, Safe, Sane, Consensual, or RAC, Risk-Aware Consensual Kink, are helping to create better sexual experiences for everyone, including people who have experienced sexual trauma. So there you go, BDSM is totes feminist if you do it properly. Leave a comment if you want, but please stay polite.